The Apollo era had its legends, but the Artemis II mission hides a secret. Artemis II is a test flight. Humans haven't flown a profile like this since Apollo 8. Inside a spacecraft with a glass cockpit, iPads, and controllers on the comm loop. It is fair to ask, why is NASA still issuing a wristwatch? I found a line item in a NASA internal briefing slide, not meant for you or me, and the hardware tells a different story. The watch NASA actually issued for the next lunar mission isn't the mechanical icon you expect. It doesn't tick, it beeps. This is Pilot Watch Gouge, just honest intel for pilots and watch nerds alike. Hardware delivered. Class 1, Omega watches. That classification matters. In government logistics, Class 1 doesn't mean first class. It means government-furnished equipment, issued property. Class 1 gear is issued, owned, and controlled by the government as mission hardware. This puts the watches on the wrists of the Artemis II crew in the same category as their pumpkin suits, their flight gear, and their survival equipment. Class 2 is different. That's personal equipment, items astronauts are allowed to bring, but NASA doesn't issue or track. The personal preference kit. Personal watches live there. This watch is Class 1, which means it wasn't chosen by an astronaut. It wasn't packed for comfort, and it definitely wasn't chosen for style. It was issued. And Artemis II isn't a milk run. It's the first crewed flight of the Orion spacecraft, a 10-day lunar flyby, high workload, long duty periods, tight timelines, tight margins. So when NASA classifies a wristwatch as Class 1 hardware, they're telling us exactly what they value: function, reliability, redundancy. If you ask a watch nerd what the Moon Watch is, they'll show you this. The Omega Speedmaster Professional. Manual wind, mechanical chronograph, virtually frozen in time since Apollo. And to be clear, this watch earned its place in history. It timed burns that saved lives. This is the watch people expect to see on the mission. But expectation and execution aren't the same thing. Because Artemis isn't Apollo. This is a new century, a new program, and a new space race. A mechanical chronograph is beautiful, but it's also passive. You have to look at it, you have to interpret it, and sometimes, if you're like me, you have to squint to read it. Which brings us to the watch that actually fits the Class 1 designation. Specifically, when you look closely at pictures of the crew preparing to fly, you don't see the newer Skywalker model with its high contrast screen. It's not the latest Mars timer with the cute rust red bezel that Omega still sells. You see this, the Omega Speedmaster X-33 Generation 2. This is the part where the comments section gets emotional. The X-33 Gen 2 wasn't designed to tell stories. It was designed to prevent errors. No heritage cosplay, no romance, just alarms, timers, and mission logic. It assumes high workload, divided attention, and the possibility that something else has already gone wrong. It is a proven tool, a veteran of the shuttle, Soyuz, Starliner, and Dragon. It isn't the romantic choice, it's the professional one. Most watches are designed by committees. The X-33 was spec'd by a legend. Tom Stafford, commander of Apollo 10 in the Apollo-Soyuz test project, knew in the 90s that the shuttle and ISS demanded timing capabilities the mechanical moon watch simply couldn't provide. So while serving on Omega's board of directors, he didn't guess. Building on his own experience on orbit, he also spent days in Houston interviewing active astronauts, translating their gripes into hardware requirements. Those specs define the X-33, an analog-digital hybrid. This is a mission timer in watch form, not a chronograph flex. Titanium case, oversized pushers, and an interface built for gloves, high workload, and zero ambiguity. Analog hands give an instant read, usually parked on UTC, while the LCD runs the real work, MET, multiple time zones, programmable countdowns, count-ups, and a loud alarm. To understand why this watch matters, you have to understand MET. MET isn't what time is it? It's the mission's spine, one timeline everyone shares. It's where are we in the mission? Spaceflight runs on timelines. Burns, sleep cycles, and experiments happen at specific points in elapsed time, not local time. But to really get the X-33, you have to hear it. This watch beeps, loudly, roughly 80 decibels, and that's intentional. A spacecraft is a factory of noise. Fans, pumps, avionics, comms chatter. If a timer is tied to a burn or a system check, you need to hear it. In spaceflight, a missed alarm isn't inconvenient. It's dangerous. The X-33 is a masterclass in engineering compromise. To get that 80 decibel scream, Omega turned the case back into an acoustic system. Venting and resonance over brute ceiling. Sound needs a path out. Water resistance needs a fortress. So the X-33 is rated at 30 meters. Not dive, not swim, just real-world splash and rain. Because Omega made a very adult decision. There isn't a whole lot of water in space, but there is a lot of noise. Omega didn't build a diver. They built a wrist-mounted droid. This watch is built for gloves and bad days. In an emergency, like a deep press event, astronauts are wearing bulky OCSS pressure gloves with the finesse of oven mitts. You can't fumble with tiny pushers. So the X-33 has 4 proud buttons and an oversized crown designed for gross motor inputs. Push, pull, and deliberate control. To some people, the Gen 2 X-33 is ugly. It's titanium, it's chunky, it's unapologetically digital. Good. It wasn't designed to be jewelry, it was designed to do a job. On ISS in 2003, astronaut Don Pettit's Omega X-33 literally started shedding parts. Crown comes loose, a pusher pops off, and in 0G, those pieces don't drop. They disappear. Pettit hunts them down in the station's air filters, tapes together a makeshift watchmaker bench, and rebuilds the thing on orbit. That's the X-33 in one story. Not jewelry, hardware you can fix in flight. Big pushers you can hit without looking. A display you can read at a glance. An alarm that won't get missed. Function over form, every time. This watch is cool precisely because it doesn't care if it's cool. No, this does not mean the mechanical moonwatch is dead. If anything, Artemis II makes the split obvious. Tool versus tradition. I'm comfortable calling the X-33 Gen 2 the mission timer, the issued instrument, the one that gets treated like hardware, because it is. But other watches will almost certainly come along for the ride. First, the science. Artemis II is supporting the Archer study. Artemis research for crew health and readiness. That means crew members will likely be wearing the Actilumus. It's a data logger from Condor Instruments. It isn't sexy. It has zero heritage. It won't trend on Instagram. It just quietly logs movement, light exposure, and skin temperature. Because NASA is trying to answer a very modern question. What does deep space do to human performance? Sleep, stress, cognition, when you're not in low Earth orbit and you can't come home quickly? LEO has a massive data trail. Cislunar space doesn't, so those wristbands become the receipts. Continuous tracking to see what changes when you live inside Orion, outside the comfort blanket of Earth's magnetic field. Then there is the personal. Will the crew bring other watches? Almost certainly. We've seen everything from G-Shocks to Apple Watches on orbit. Garmin has been a popular choice. Maybe a mechanical Speedmaster. Maybe a family heirloom. Maybe a GMT if someone wants to channel Jack Swiggert's Rolex energy. And that's the distinction we need to remember. The X-33 is the tool. The mechanical watch is the tribute. The internet will obsess over what is photographed. NASA cares about what's issued. Everything else is just a passenger. Because in space, heritage is great, but accuracy keeps you alive. If you're strapping in for 10 days and the timeline matters, do you want romance or alarms? Digital or mechanical? Drop your pick below. Let me know in the comments. On Artemis II, tradition will likely hitch a ride, but the X-33 will be the one doing the work.